actually the very end of Daf Gimel Amud Beis. Toner Rabbanu Elden Rabbaisa. Izahi Eidos Rishena, Zo Eidos Stira, Eidos Achrena, Zo Eidos Tuma. There's two sets of witnesses. There's the Eidos. The first set is for the Eidos that have witnessed her being secluded, and the second set, the Eidos Achrena that we're talking about, are the Eidos that see her in Tuma committing the sin, or other things that indicate that the sin was committed. The Kama Shir Stira. What is the Shir? How long does she have to be secluded? Is it an hour, half an hour? What is it? Kidei Tuma. Says the Braisa like this: it's the amount of time that it takes to impurify herself. Kidei Bia, time to have the relations, and Kidei Hara, to start having relations. Kidei Akafas Dekel, the amount of time that it takes for walking around a palm tree. For now, we think it means walking around the palm tree. Divrei Rabbi Yishmael. This is the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael. The Braisa continues and tells us that Rabbi Eliezer Eimer Kidei Mezikas HaKos. The amount of time. By the way, we're going to have 9 opinions over here. According to Rabbi Eliezer, it's the amount of time that it takes to fill up a cup of wine. In the olden days, you can't just take wine and drink it. It was very thick wine. You have to mix it with water. So it's a process to mix it and have it ready for drinking. Rabbi Yeshua says in order to, the amount of time it takes to drink it, it's not a long time, it's a few seconds or whatever, maybe a little longer to drink a cup of wine. Ben Azai says the amount of time it takes to roast an egg. Rabbi Akiva in order to swallow it. Now there's an interesting Meferish that says, how come it tells us Rabbi Ben Azai's opinion before Rabbi Akiva? Rabbi Akiva was Ben Azai's teacher. Because Ben Azai says to fry an egg, to roast an egg, and Rabbi Akiva says to swallow it. First you fry it and you swallow it. So even though he's his teacher, his opinion comes second because what he says is second.
Can you swallow it raw?
I was thinking the same thing. You could, but I don't think that's what he's talking about here.
We do it all the time.
Have you heard the Meseda Eimer? The Meseda says, in order to swallow 3 eggs, one after the other, that probably means raw, one after the other, consecutive. 3 of them takes a little longer. In order to attach the weaving strings to the weaver, to put them together in order to weave it, it's a certain amount of time that it takes to tie it together. That's the amount of time that if they're secluded for that amount of time, it would be a problem. Chanin ben Pinchas says it's the amount of time it takes for a woman to put her hand in her mouth and pull out a splinter. In the olden days, they didn't have toothpicks; they used to use a piece of, I guess, a pick, and the amount of time it takes if one gets stuck to pull it out.
Not a very long time.
No, not at all. Plime says, in order, the amount of time it takes to put your hand into a basket to take out a loaf of bread. Now, we'll have a discussion later. What does it mean, a loaf of bread? What kind of basket? What kind of bread? How long does it really take? But for now, that's what we know what it means. Now he says, even though there's no proof that somehow the amount of time it takes to take bread out of a basket is the amount of impurity. Zecher ledavar, there is a zecher, a remembrance, or let's say a hint to this. For isha zena till a loaf of bread. So let's talk about the unfaithful woman in the Seita, and we're comparing it in the pasuk to bread. So that's a remez, a zecher, the amount of time it takes to take a loaf of bread out of the basket if she was warned before, and then she was secluded with the same person she was warned about for that amount of time, and witnesses or a witness saw, that would render her suspected, and she has to go through the process.
So they refers to suspected or unfaithful.
Suspected, yeah, very important distinction. Not just suspected within the realm of Torah's rules, which is warned in front of 2 witnesses and so on. The whole hani lamali. Why do I have to have all these different indicators? Just tell me that there is, the measurement of how much time it is. There's so many different ways. The Braisa says, tuma, the amount of time it is for becoming impure, for starting, for surrounding a tree. What's this all about? The amount of time it takes to walk around a palm tree. Why do I need so many of these specifications? So he says, "Tzrichi, we need to have it. If the Braisa would only tell us the amount of time it is the amount of time it takes to do the act, so to speak, for her to become impure, I would have thought it means Tuma v'artzeisa, for her to agree, as to convince her or whatever, it takes some time, and then the Tuma. So the Braisa concludes and tells you it's not just the amount of time of Tuma, because Tuma you could think it means the process until they get to the Tuma. But so he tells you just the Tuma, just the Bia, just the actual act itself is the amount of time that it takes. That amount of time is seclusion would be enough. V'tana kedei Bia, have a minute kedei Gemar Bia. And if you would tell me it's the amount of time it takes for Bia itself, for the actual act, then I would think it's the full act. Only the start of it. In other words, a very short amount of time, but that's why the Braisa gives us all these different specifications to make sure that we understand that we're not including the convincing her or getting her to want and so on. And if you only tell me the amount of time it takes to start, I would think it's the beginning to get her to agree and then to start. Now, it's the amount of time of Tumah, meaning just Tumah on its own. It's not even about finishing, it's not even about convincing her, just the start. How much time is it? Bottom line, how much time is it? Measure the amount of time it takes to walk around the palm tree. We'll discuss later, does it mean walking around, or what does it exactly mean? But walking around the palm tree, how long it takes, that is the amount of time that would be considered enough time for Tumah. In other words, for them to do an act which would make her impure, do the wrong thing, and if they secluded her for that amount of time, she is suspected Satan. I will upslug this Braisa. I have another Braisa, which also has these opinions, but most of them, I think 5 out of 9, are different than the 9. Same people, but the Braisa gives us different answers for what they say is the amount of time. Says the Braisa, what is the amount of time of Sisira? We don't know. When it says she became impure, I would say this means the amount of time it takes to become impure. Because the pasuk says if she was secluded and she became tameh, which means she did a sin. So the amount of time that it takes to become impure, that's the amount of time that seclusion would be prohibited. What is that amount of time? So this second brisa, which we're saying is a contradiction, the first one, as we'll soon see, kidei bia, and it specifies the amount of time it takes to do the act, kidei ara, in order to start. And then the brisa concludes, kidei chazaras dekel, the amount of time it takes to return from the going around the tree. So the first brisa, it says going around. Now it says to go.
Going around what?
Right. A tree, walking around
the same thing.
a tree. But it said akafas, which means go around. Second brisa, it says returning, which sounds like it's a different measurement. Same tree, right? What does it mean?
It's probably return to the point where you start, so you make a full circle. Yeah.
Okay, so the Gemara will give us an answer for this. David Rabbi Eliezer, that's the words of Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Shua says, it is the amount of time it takes to fill up a cup. Now, in the earlier brayso, Rabbi Eliezer said it's the amount of time to prepare the cup of wine. If you add the water and mix it up, it takes a little time. Rabbi Shua said it's the amount of time it takes to drink it in the first brayso. Here he says it takes the amount of time it takes to prepare it. Ben Azai says no, it's the amount of time it takes to drink it. In the prior brayso, Ben Azai said it's about roasting an egg. He didn't say it's about drinking. So we have this contradictory brayso. Rabbi Eliezer said it, yeah. So it's a different opinion, same answer, but different person. And the same person says something else.
He also said it in the first brayso.
Yeah. They sound to be different people, different Tanoim saying different answers in different braysos. Rabbi Kiva Emek Delit says Beitza. Rabbi Kiva says in order to roast an egg, and in the last one it says to swallow an egg. I've heard them say that Emek Delit Gema, the amount of time it takes to swallow the egg. In last brayso he said it's swallowing 3 eggs. This Rabbi Huda ben Beseira. So we have this contradiction about all the validity of the brayso, but really the opinion of the brayso is so different in this other brayso that we're quoting. I would think that circling around a palm tree is the same. It's the same as going back. So he says, no, we think it means the same thing. For now, we think it's the same thing. Different way of saying it. Or going there means coming back. Hossam over there in the other brisa, the first brisa that we brought, Rabbi Shmuel says it's the amount of time it takes to circle a palm tree. Eliezer argues on him, and he says, over here. And he says, no, it's about returning the dekel. Abaye says, here's the distinction. You want to know why one opinion says hakafa, one brayso says chazara, same person. Why? What does it mean? Rabbi Shmuel said hakafa to go around, and Rabbi Lezer said to go back. So Abaye explained hakafa means beregel. When you say to circle, you use the word hakafa, it means you walked around. That's one measurement of time. How long it takes me to walk around the palm tree. Chazara beruach. Returning it means by wind. So returning it is not the person. When the branch goes away from the tree and it comes back to the tree, that's when you use the term chazara. So it's two different opinions. One is walking around. That's Rabbi Shmuel in the first brisa. Rabbi Eliezer in our brisa is about the branches itself coming back from the wind. It's a different measurement. Okay. Rashi asks, now that you Abaye just explained to me that chazara means the wind is taking it back. It's not about walking around, but it's about the actual branches coming back to the trunk. Does it mean that they go there and come back? So that the wind took the branch out and brought it back? Or does it mean it went out, came back, and then it went back to its place? Is it 2 steps or 3 steps? It's a different amount of time. But the answer is Teku. The question remains. Teku is a Rosh Tevis, it's an acronym. Tishbi, Eliyahu HaTishbi, Eliyahu HaNavi, Yetaretz Kushiyes V'Ibayis. Eliyahu HaNavi, which means a Mashiach will come, he's going to answer the unanswered stuff and the questions. So basically, we don't know what it's referring to, what the brisa means. Does it mean this way and back, or does it mean this way back and to its place? Hassam, another question we have on the earlier brisa, the first quote mentioned from the brisa, we said, it's all about filling up, preparing the cup of wine, right? Adding the water, the wine's very thick, and so on. Over here, he said, it's about returning of these branches. Which one is it? Is it preparing the wine, or is it the branches? So one answer is, they're both the same measurement. It's a different way to describe the same amount of time. Prepping a cup of wine to make it drinkable, which you have to pour a little water, probably mix it, and so on, is the same amount of time as a branch going this way and that way. So the Brisa is quoting 2 different teachings from the same person. They're not contradicting. Either he said it 2 different times in 2 different ways, or whatever it may be, but the measurement is the same. Another contradiction we had in this Brisa. Hassam over there, there we said it's about the amount of time it takes to drink the cup of wine once it's prepared. Over here he says it's about prepping the cup. Which one is it? You could say what he's telling you is it's not just preparing a cup of wine. You prepare it and then you drink it. So in one brayso he said it's about preparing it. The second, which means preparing and drinking. The second brayso he said it's to drink it, which means you got to prep it before you drink it. So really it's the same measurement. Why don't we just say it's both the same shear?
Yeah, on both breasts.
Yeah, would be another answer. It's not the answer we give. We say technically, in each case he means do both steps. Not that each step is the same. Maybe drinking takes 10 seconds, and prepping takes 3 minutes. I don't know. So it's 3 minutes and 10 seconds. But why don't we just say it's the same amount of time? It takes 10 seconds to prep, and 10 seconds to drink. Not that it means both together. In Cain, Rabbi Eliezer. If you say that, it would mean Rabbi Eliezer, and that is not the same. Obviously, it's 2 different opinions, so it can't be the same amount of time to prep the cup of wine and drink it. So what he means is, when he says in one place, prep the wine, he means prep and drink. And the next place when he says drink the wine, he means prep it first and then drink it. So whatever amount of time that is, 3 minutes and 10 seconds, just made up a number. That is the his opinion of how long you're not allowed to be in seclusion. Hassam, over there in the first brisa, Ben Azai said, it's about roasting an egg. Here he said it's about drinking the egg. Which one is it?
Drinking the egg.
That means like
Yeah, you just make a whole egg. Suck it in.
Ben Azai in a second. So
Suck
back
it
here,
out.
as I said.
We didn't know about salmonella yet. We didn't get the memo when we did it. So.
It wasn't a problem. Hold on. Yeah, so he says like this. They're both the same share. Hassam over there, Rabbi Kiva said it's about swallowing an egg. Sorry, the first drinking was wine. In the first brisa, Rabbi Kiva said it's about swallowing an egg, right? There he said it's about frying an egg, roasting an egg. Which one is it? Say it's about roasting it and swallowing it. So one place he says roast it, just like we answered regarding the wine. Prep it and drink it. The roasting it and swallowing it, he means both. Why doesn't he just say they're both the same share? Why do you have to use this thing of two together? That would be benazai, which is not the same thing. Okay. Fine. So we can't say the same thing. Roasting and swallowing an egg is the same measurement. It's not. Two different measurements. The question is, do you mean you have to do both steps together, roast the egg and eat it, just by swallowing it, or just roast? And we're concluding that it's
You
both
roast
together.
it. You try to swallow
like
it
the
right
wine.
away. You better make sure it's not too hot, because
So just like the one you're prepping.
it will take you longer to
drinking,
swallow
right?
it.
Yeah.
Just like the one you're prepping and drinking.
Right. Same answer.
concept.
Yeah.
It's,
Basically, the way that we're answering the same contradiction is, what are they referring to? Hassam, the earlier brayso, Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira gave the Gumaya Shalish Beitzin, Zu Achar Zu. Hacham Magdil the Gema. The Yehuda ben Beseira in the first brayso, he said, it's the amount of time it takes to swallow 3 eggs. Over here, he said it's about swallowing an egg, the roasted egg, or yeah. The Dvar of the Rabbi Akiva Kamar. And what answers he's talking about, based on what Rabbi Akiva said, the Kamar Meshardim Vitzliya B'Gmiya. He was explaining Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva, which we now explained, means roasting and swallowing.
does it include peeling it?
No. So, how long does that take? He explained. You want to know how long it takes to roast and swallow? The amount of time it takes to swallow 3 eggs consecutively. So that's the amount of time it takes to roast and swallow. Okay, that's the end of this piece of Gemara. And we have contradiction of 2 brises. We're going to talk more about the brisa, but there's a contradiction of 2 brises. The way that we answer it is that they really mean the same thing. There's different ways to explain it. They're not a contradiction.
Some of it's really hard to swallow.
Yeah.
Pun intended. Because what we know now is I don't know.
No, he's telling you a measurement of time. Is it 1 minute? Is it 30 seconds? Is it 5 minutes? What are we dealing with?
Right, but realistically, you can't swallow egg with a shell. Well, you better not. Because
So after a chasana, after the chuppah, when there's a yichud, well, how long does it have to be? So there's different opinions: 8 minutes, 6 minutes, 9 minutes. Different opinions. How long they have to be in the room? This is obviously a much shorter measurement.
that's longer than
Yeah. I'm just saying. The question
drinking
is,
a cup of wine.
I don't know how long it takes to add water to wine and get it right.
How long
Probably not
does it
6
take?
minutes.
If you have to go to the well and get some water, and plus we don't know what kind of how strong the wine was those days.
Correct. Okay. Another thing we had in the Brisa, the measurement that it takes to tie the strings to the weaving machine. Okay. They're distant, I guess there's further away or closer. And the Gemara answers Teku, same thing. Eliyahu Navi is going to answer this question. We don't know what the Brisa meant. Apparently, there's a difference between when the strings are closer or further on the weaving machine, It's a different amount of time to put it together. And Mashiach will come and tell us what the Brisa meant. Chanin bar Pinchas Emer. We had in the Brisa the opinion of Chanin ben Pinchas. He says the amount of time it takes to put her hand between her teeth in her mouth and take out a pick, a splinter. Does it mean that it's really wedged inside? You got to pull it out, which is hard. Again, it's not today's toothpicks where it's all sanded properly and it's measured exactly. It doesn't get stuck. Took a little splinter from somewhere. We had a discussion in Sukkah. Could you use a piece of the Sukkah board for your? You do whatever you could. So when you say the amount of time it takes, is it stuck, or is it just there and you have to pull it out? It's a totally different measurement of time. What do you think the answer is? Teiku. Tishbi. Tishbi is going to answer these questions. Klimu was of the opinion that the seclusion is prohibited, the amount of time it takes for her to put her hand into a basket and take out a loaf of bread. Now, are we talking about that the loaf of bread is, Rashi explains, is it like stuck into the basket, like a tight basket, you got to somehow pull it out, it's like in a tough packaging, or not? Is this a new basket or an old basket? The old baskets, the new baskets, the weaving is very good. It doesn't catch on to the bread. You can easily take it out. Ones that are older, the weaving is opening up a little bit and it catches the bread. It's harder to take it out. Are you talking about a hot loaf of bread or a cold loaf? A hot loaf of bread, you got to take it out slower so it doesn't fall out of your hands, and it takes longer because you got to be very careful. A cold one, you just whip it out. It's a different amount of time. Are you talking about wheat, a wheat loaf, wheat flour, or is it barley? And Rashi says that's from wheat. It's a smoother bread. They can slip out of your hands, so you have to hold it slower to get it out. You can't just grab it; it'll slip right out. It's smooth. If it's made out of wheat, out of barley, it's a little bit coarser, and you get a better grip. You just pull it out; it's faster. So what's he talking about? Taking a loaf of bread out of a basket. Are we talking about that the dough is kneaded soft, so it's a softer bread? I guess what they call artisan breads, or was it akusha, a little coarser? Same
Artisan
thing.
bread is usually coarser.
Right. So which one is it? Is it the soft one or is it the coarser? Because again, it's going to be a different way how to take it out. It's quicker when it's
The bread my wife bakes is very, very coarse.
It's not slipping out of your hand.
It's not going to slip out of your hand.
Okay. Well, the answer is Teku. Mashiach is going to tell us. The Old is going to answer these questions when he comes. There's a whole list of stuff he has to answer for us. One of them is when it talks about the measurement of taking a bread out of a basket. What is the Brisa referring to? What type of bread? What type of basket? Hot or cold? Stuck in or not stuck in? So we get it straight. Omer Rabbi Yitzchak by Rabbi Yosef and Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Yitzchak, the son of Rabbi Yosef, the son of Rabbi Yechanan, said that these 9 opinions that he had on the Brisa of how long it takes, each person estimated how long it takes for themselves in their own relationship and with their wife, how long it takes, and that's the amount of time they said. Different opinions. They said what they know. Try to give out 1 second. There was Ben Azai, and we know that Ben Azai never got married. Who? Ben Azai. He said, "Nafshi choshka b'Torah. I want to study Torah all day. I can't get married." So he had an opinion here also. Where did he get his opinion from? He wasn't married. So Gemara gives us 2 answers, or 3. One opinion is he actually got married, and then he separated from his wife, and he said, "I got to learn Torah all day. I can't do this whole thing," and he wasn't married. He separated. Another opinion is Minabe Shamile. He heard it from his teacher. His teacher, who was married, told him a lot of time, and he's passing over the tradition that he learned. Everything else he says he learned, right? And another opinion is, how does Ben Azai know if he wasn't married? The secret of Hashem is given to those that fear him. He has information from Hashem. You know, it's not, he doesn't know it from experience, he knows it because he was told. Rabbi Vira, the following teaching which Rabbi Vira said, sometimes he said it in the name of Rabbi Ami, and sometimes he said it in the name of Rabbi Asi. that kol echol lechem b'lein netilas yadayim, anyone that eats bread without netilas yadayim beforehand, it's ki'ilu ba'al ish hazayna. It's as if he came on as if he was with a zayna, a unfaithful woman.
Sorry, say what?
An unfaithful woman, harlot. Shenemar kib'ad ish hazayna ad kikar lechem, because the pasuk says, which we brought it before regarding the hint for the measurement is the amount of bread that you take out, amount of time it takes to take bread out, is the pasuk says, "Ba'ad isha zayna ad kikar lechem." So there's this connection, bread and this. So Rava said, if that's the case, you're telling me anyone that eats bread without netilas yadayim, it's considered as if it's such a terrible thing, right? It should have said the other way around. The pasuk says first the isha zayna, then it says bread. It should first say the bread and then isha zayna, because the bread caused or is considered as if he misbehaved, he was immoral. Rabbi said like this: Kol abal isha zayna, the safe mevakesh kikar lechem. Anyone that has relations with the zayna, in the end, his situation is going to become so dire that he's going to be requesting bread. When he becomes so poor, he'll be begging for bread. He learns the pasuk, the hint from the pasuk, a little bit differently. Amar Rabbi Zreika, Amar Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Zreika said in the name of Rabbi Eliezer, Kol mezalzel b'netilas yadayim nekar min ha'olam. Anyone that is lenient regarding netilas yadayim gets uprooted from the world. I want to finish on that note. Amar Chi bar Ashi, Amar Rav, Mayim Rishenim tzarich l'mayim mayim echleim tzarich l'mayim. The first hand washing before you eat, you have to lift your hands upwards. By machreinim, you lift your hands downwards. This will conclude. Thanks for joining. Tomorrow we won't have a recording because it's Friday night, but next week we're in Hashem. Thanks everyone for joining, and have a wonderful evening. Like, share, subscribe.
You know, there was a mass shooting today in Texas.